Hello, good afternoon, Shyam. Can you hear me? So did you do any homework? You don't remember. Some question today? For completion? Yeah. So we'll do some. So that we don't have to do everything for 10 minutes. Will be it. So these no problem. Question number 13, 14, 15. आपका किया है ना? Problem, Kavya. You got the reasoning for this, right? Number 15. You got the reasoning right, or was it confusing? Very right, no problem. So we can move on to the next exercise, that is exercise 2. Now you remember the strategy? Or the main thing you have to do? First thing. Read the paragraph. When you read the paragraph, what do you do? Understand. Get the main idea. Yeah. Anything, what do you eliminate? Contrary, out of scope, extreme, anything which has extreme goals, anything that is specific. And if you are dealing with the first sentence, when you are looking at the middle sentence or the last sentence, any pronouns, you have to remember to figure out what this belongs to. Any articles will help you to get the proofs, right? Okay. We already know these. Too broad, too narrow. What will not go with too broad or too narrow? Conclusions. Okay. New themes don't go with conclusions. New theme can go with introduction, but it should be related. So these are, you can get to do a little more practice. So yes, you people, homework done ki nahi? होमवर्क था नहीं था कितने क्वेश्चन given only 3 questions. So that you people will be able to do them. Huh? 3 questions का भी time नहीं मिला. Okay, so since you people don't have time for homework, you will do this study class. And then I will give you homework if you feel like doing. If you don't feel like doing very good, then you don't get plans. Right? Okay, this is session 14, exercise 2. Exercise 2, question number 1. We will do it from the screen of, you can see. Yes, Shyam, Rachel, who else is there? Kavya, Mahir, everyone, can you have your picture done?
I'm traveling, so I cannot keep my camera on right now.
You are traveling. Do you have your book?
Yeah, I have my book.
Okay. So you can open up to, I suppose it's page 179. It's up to 179. Page 179, and it's on the screen also, you can see. Yes. What's there to catch up on? What which? Okay. So you don't have your book. Okay. No problem. You can solve your problem. So this is question number 1. Book will be page 179. Question 1. You can do it from the book or you can do it on the screen. So you have to read properly and get the answer. Is it A? Now let's get answers from other people also. For all those online, I hope you can hear me. This is a concluding sentence. You have to remember that whatever conclusion you come up with should be either extension of the previous sentence or conclusion of the entire paragraph. A
should be because it like concludes the paragraph properly. Can be C. It can be B because like it supports the paragraph, but it's not B. It's C. C.
A B हो सकता है, B B हो सकता है, C B हो सकता है. What about D? D B हो सकता है, D हो सकता है. Why not D?
It can't be clear because it is introducing a new topic.
What is introducing new topic?
So cancellation.
Anyone with a specific answer?
It's not it's not the conclusion.
Anyone say?
Wait, it's pretty more silly. On C,
Yes.
equally right.
Mahir. Who else is there? Kavya? Any answer? Rachel? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have you come up with an answer? Okay, let's see what the answer could be. Now, what is this passage talking about?
It's talking about the fight for civil war in Bahrain, where the people are fighting
Is it
for
only for Bahrain? It comes up with, it begins with newly democratic countries, right? So it begins with newly democratic countries. So newly democratic countries, what is happening? Newly democracies have done relatively well. So new democracies
after the
means they were a success. Now elsewhere, the first flowerings of protests in the spring of 2011 brought not freedom. So elsewhere, when you're talking about, hello, either you explain or I explain. Want to explain? Right? What we- You want to discuss with the entire class. So you can come here and explain. Okay, so now they are talking about protests brought not freedom but more tyranny and vicious civil strife. Now, and if you look at the next sentence, what is it giving you? Example. Example of the previous point, right? When the police in the tiny island kingdom of Bahrain failed to stamp out a rapper's pro-democratic mutiny, the ruling family panicked. So this is a specific example of Bahrain. Now, what do we need here? As I said, it could be either conclusion or extension of the previous point. Right? Now, if we look at A, not only Bahrain has failed, not only has Bahrain failed to progress, it has turned the clock back. Is it related to democracy? We're talking about democracy
it is
and protests.
because
Is
before
it related to the entire paragraph or the previous one? Can you put the things together? Are they connected? Remember, you need to connect the dots. Is it connecting the dots? Yes, no. You have to be sure. So this is talking about a new progress. Here it's talking about protests. Right? First thing was new democratic countries done relatively well. So, and other places, freedom was like they didn't get freedom. Instead, there was civil strife. And specific example of Bahrain, where democratic mutiny came in and the ruling party panicked. Now, if we look at failed to progress, it's a new point. Right? Doesn't have any connection with the democracy. Can we get the feedback of an answer? Yes? Where are you dreaming? So now if you read it again, failed to progress, turn the clock back to where it was after previous bout. I was talking about previous bout. Are we talking about a previous bout? So do we keep it or eliminate? Eliminate? Doesn't make sense. So it should be logical. Remember, logically it should be correct. Yeah. If we look at B, does it connect? Or it's a completely new point?
before
New point. It doesn't have any connection
under
with
the third,
the entire paragraph.
there's the introduction of two people.
Right.
It's like the Sunni minority and the Shia.
So it's getting to a completely different point.
So B and C
So,
both can't be.
B can be eliminated. Okay, if we look at C, it invited by Sunni monarchs to send in troops, which led to scores of deaths and hundreds of arrests. Is that related?
The rulings, the last line, last word, the last three words are ruling panic. So it invited means the ruling family invited in panic. Also, there is written pro democracy mutiny, and it is concluded with lead to scores of death and hundreds of arrests. So that connects the paragraph.
That is a continuation of the previous. So this we can, but we will still look at the. So we'll still look at the next point. Next point says, nowhere as yet has the right to vote or greater freedom to speak translated into markedly better government. More jobs or brighter outcomes. It's completely different and it is an extreme answer. If you see the first line, it says, and those new democratic countries have done relatively well. So can we say nowhere did it succeed? Yeah. So what are we left with?
See,
Ma'am,
See. Yes?
ma'am, are you sharing a screen to the first question?
Yeah, it's the first question.
Ma'am, I can see the 12th one only on the screen.
The
The first one is invisible.
Can you say so? You people can move on to the next question. Yeah, can you see this question now?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you understood this question? Right? Got the answer? Okay, can move on to the next one. Can you see the screen with your next question?
there is the land.
Huh?
It is the
Okay, remember I told you something? If you don't see a plan,
It's already at the
the
end.
last, there's a concluding sentence. If a blank is not there, you know it's a concluding sentence. You remember? Okay, so you can solve from here.
Okay.
A. First, you are saying A.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My answer feel it same.
You also feel it same. B. Who else is going with A or B? A. A.
B.
B. Fine.
Yeah, B.
Read carefully. We are looking at a concluding sentence. And whatever you choose should be related to the passage. It should not be something that is not related to the passage.
A.
Okay? Okay? Everyone says A? Okay, I want somebody to explain the answer. Who wants to explain? Yes.
So in this entire paragraph, we're talking about how the US and the Russians are affirmed their support for the Geneva Peace Treaty in August 2013, but they offered little help in the strategy between the two warring sides, which are currently being discussed about. And they're also talking about the rebels, which are the asset group, and like their unwillingness to leave the country.
Yeah. Anything
So-
wrong? Why? Why? Not include answers. If it does not include, so this is important. Rebels appear unwilling to consider a plan that does not include Assad also, and Assad doesn't want to leave. Assad is unwilling to go voluntarily. So now what? Right? So, and this comes with moreover, that means something further, right? Neither side seems willing to negotiate from a perceived position of weakness. So nobody wants to
Negotiate.
bow down. Yeah, nobody wants to show that they are weak. Now, if you look at B, C, and D, why did you eliminate?
C and D about Arabs in Syria, Gulf states, Jordan is not relevant to the above information.
Right? It is out of the scope, as we say. And what about B?
E is
Is it
Again,
related?
chemical weapons is also not related to the war.
Chemical weapons is coming.
Not completely related.
Yeah. It is bringing a new point, not a conclusion. Yes. Right? So we don't go with B. A is our answer. Yeah, mine. What your answer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We are going to your next question. Kavya, are you able to do the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Number 3. And okay, now another thing you have to do is all of you have to pick up speed. But remember, these questions have to be done in less than 1 minute. Maximum. Okay. Are you sure?
Ma'am D. Ma'am D.
It concludes properly.
So below you are saying. A and D.
D.
D. Both.
So what? Now we are looking for a conclusion.
A.
A. Rachel, what's your answer?
Ma'am, C.
C. Out of all you got the C. Okay. Kavya?
Ma'am, I just like to say one thing, ma'am. If you read A and if you read D, the message which is being imparted in both is exactly the same. Both of them are saying that there is no evidence about left brain, emphasis or right brain. So both of them are essentially the same.
Both are essentially the same.
But
But is there any difference? Is there something which is not related?
Both of them are, contradicting whatever the paragraph has said, and that is why one starts with the but, which is proper, and the other starts with however, which is proper as well.
Now let's see. The passive. Okay, everyone's come up with an answer. So between A, C, and D. D. A. B. Yours. I will be so straight. A.
A. Rest of D.
D.
That's the way for it to say literally.
A.
D.
D. So those who think A is the answer, explanation.
D would be the answer, but I'm saying A because the set paragraph starts with previous studies. That implies that there is a new study being done. Therefore, A suggests, it also suggests that there is a new study.
New study being done. Okay. Yeah. So if we see, the passage itself says previous studies. So previous studies over the years have suggested we use only half of our brain more often than the other, playing a part in the type of personality we have. So the 60%. While the left side of the brain is usually associated with logical, analytical, and detail-oriented behavior, right side has been connected to creativity. So this is one theory from previous studies. Now we come to a conclusion. Here it says, but a new study published in the journal PLOS ONE suggests there is no evidence within brain imaging that proves that some people are right-brained or left-brained. Yeah, contradicting the previous theory. If you look at B, it is giving us something completely new. Research team conducted a 2-year study is not really related.
It's not.
Okay, C. Those who came up with C. Came up with C. Rachel, you came up with C. It says all connections in the brain were examined and all possible combinations of the brain regions were correlated for each brain region that was left lateralized or right lateralized. So is this giving you a conclusion? Or is it just restating whatever was said only?
It's restating what we said.
It is restating. Right? So we won't go with C as an answer. Now we are left with D. Okay, Utkarsh, you think D could be an answer?
Ma'am, actually, I was confused between A and D because both of them essentially mean the same. But I think A would be the answer, as you pointed out. Previous studies would only be appropriately succeeded by a new study. So I think A would be the answer.
So D says it gives a contrast. It begins with however. We just do not see patterns where the whole left brain network is more connected or the whole right brain network is more connected in some way.
I'm saying the same thing, left brain or right brain.
Yeah. So here there's it talks about a confusion, but it is still talking about the same thing. Right? So though now if you see there is BA says there is no evidence and it talks about a new study. So that is a better answer than to conclude. Right? Stay confused?
Just because it gives us
See, now what are we looking for? We are looking for logically best answer. Right? So if we are going to conclude, however, we do not see patterns. So this is contradictory to the same theory. So the theory at one point is saying that there is distinction between left brain and right brain behavior. And then the same theory is talking about that we do not see patterns. That is contradicting the same theory. If we talk about a new theory contradicting the previous theory, that makes a lot of sense. Right? So you have to analyze logically. Alright? So we go with A, not with B. So the same theory could not be contradicting itself. A new theory can be done. Okay? Okay, question number 4. Yeah. They talk about El Nino and La Nina all the time when they actually can't explain the weather changes. Okay, so
C.
C, C or B?
C. C.
We got one answer. Anybody else?
Ma'am, D.
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 Fourth one.
Yes, D seems correct.
D.
Read carefully. All those who said D, read carefully. What is D talking about? D bola. Somebody said D also. Okay, yes, girls. Do you have an answer? No answer? Try. Try to relate. Try, as I always said, try to connect dots. What is connecting? We are looking at confluence and the syllable.
Ma'am, I would like to change my answer from D to A.
From D to A.
Yes, ma'am. A.
We've got all the options.
A and D are very similar. A and D.
Okay, A and D are similar.
My reasoning here would be
Huh?
B can't be done simply talks about threads. But in the passage there is also plot event. And the A and D talks about specific years. But as the paragraph suggests in the first line,
So
it's not
what is the paragraph talking about? Something that happens in general. Yeah. It is not common for El Nino winter to be followed by La Luna, and that is a climatic pattern, right? And El Nino produces La Nina produces effects which are opposite to El Nino, right? And if you look at the last line, where there is flooding, there is drought. Where winter weather was abnormally mild, it turns abnormally harsh. Right? Now, if you look at A, by the time it had done its course, what had done its course?
Ma'am, La Nina.
Huh?
Nani.
The giant El Nino of 97-98 had deranged weather patterns around the world. This is what? Something specific to 1 year. Right? It can be an example. Now let's see whether we want this or we have something else. B says hundreds of families splashed frantically through the muddy floods. This is also something specific, right? Huh? Does it connect to the weather patterns?
No, ma'am, the last thing they were talking about is winter. So again, bringing up muddy flood would be inappropriate.
Flooding, where there was flooding, there is drought. Where winter weather was abnormally mild, it was abnormally harsh. So the last part is talking about flooding and winter. Hundreds of families splashed frantically through muddy flood. Where's the winter gone? This is specific to only flooding. But this entire sentence is a shift in weather pattern. Right? So can we go with B? Not really. A and B both are specific to one thing. So can't count it. Now C says La Ninas have followed El Ninos 3 times in the past 15 years. After the 82-83 event and after those of 86-87. So this is something broad.
Actually, it's restating what was written in the first line of the paragraph anyway, ma'am.
Yeah, it says no. The first line of the paragraph gave a general statement. This is giving you something that okay, this has happened in the past. So three.
Ma'am, in the first line of the paragraph, it says La Nina will be like La Nina will come after El Nino, and the C option also says La Nina have like just by giving statistics, it is saying that La Nina has followed.
Let's see whether we can keep safe. So we have eliminated A. Now let's look at D. By the time debris settled and the collective misery was tallied, the devastation had in some aspects exceeded even that of the El Nino of 82-83. What
Ma'am,
debris
again specific.
is, can we connect the debris and the misery to the previous sentence or the paragraph? Can we connect D to anything?
No, ma'am, because debris can only be connected to flooding, but the last thing they're talking about is winter. So winter doesn't create any debris.
So the last line also is talking about both aspects. It's not talking about only one aspect. So if it was talking that about something like the flooding in this particular year was very harsh or was devastating, then we could have gone with B. But now can we go with B? Right? So now we have eliminated B also. What are we left with? C. We are left with C. So even if you are in two minds whether a particular option can be an answer or not, if you have eliminated everything else, left with only that option, go with it. Now let's see whether it actually makes sense or not. Now the whole paragraph is talking about these climatic patterns in general. C is giving us something specific that is given, some specific data to show that this happens. So logically correct? Yes. Right? Kursh?
Ma'am, I still don't know, ma'am, because in the beginning of the paragraph, they're talking about the pattern in which El Nino and La Nina come. After that, they're talking about the devastations caused. And again, now they're talking about the statistics behind La Nina following El Nino. So that pattern seems very inappropriate to me.
So if we look at the first sentence, it's a general statement. Right? And if you look at C, it is giving you proof of this general statement. Yeah? You can take the data as proof of whatever has been stated. So anyway, we can't go with A, B, or D. So
Okay.
C is only
That
option.
okay.
Right?
Understood.
Okay, question number 5.
Ma'am, C.
C, we've got one answer, C in the years. D. 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 Okay, so yes, my Sham, with my girls here,
Ma'am, C. Ma'am, D.
D.
Ma'am, D.
Option both options.
Okay, most of you think it is D. 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 Okay, so what was I talking about?
Basically, a new source for irrigation for farmers in
So it's
1939.
talking about, first thing it's saying, new deal efforts. Yeah, so something was done which is called new deal, and it brought back the land, right? So when the rains came in 39, the dust storm started to settle down. Farmers on the plains turned to Obalala aquifer. What is an aquifer?
Underground water.
Underground, especially found in the deserts. So it's for so many miles of water table beneath them to satisfy their requirements. So now, what is this a positive statement or negative statement? Positive statement. So
Positive.
the conclusion will be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Can't be repeated.
Can't be negative. So wells started popping up everywhere. Some feeding crops that required more moisture than the wheat to last for a year, decade or two.
Very specific.
It is very specific and only to wheat. So we haven't been talking about wheat. Okay, what seemed a good idea at the time was beginning of a bad idea. We won't go with the negatives. Because we are not talking about, we are talking about the water table was there and they used it for the crops. So obviously it was beneficial. So, and we don't have any fact to support that it was a bad idea. At the present rate of depletion, aquifer could at some point be pumped dry. So have we come to the point of depletion?
Negative. Yeah, the point of
So we are left with B. In the region with so little and such unreliable rainfall, it makes sense. All the water that they could ask for was right there under their feet. Right? So that is what is connecting to the things. So B is our answer. Okay, now speed up a little with this.
A.
A.
Yes.
Now we can eliminate B. Sarcasm pours down from the loftier speech is not, it's completely opposite to what they are talking
We're
about.
talking about a negative theme.
So here it's talking about like when tsunami hits or earthquake doesn't happen or embassy attack these parts of Spain. Even the most callous tweeter Twitter goes soft inside. Yeah, every laptop turns into a news service all the time. So we are talking about people being sensitive to such events. So we won't be talking about something. This wasn't disaster porn, but a starting cut of goodwill. That doesn't make sense. These days, life online has become friendly, well mannered, and oversweet. Not
Which
really.
progressively increasing the
At
superlativeness of
such
that.
moments, when A talks about at such moments, so specific to whatever has been said earlier, web becomes a nurturing and shining space. Every stiff-jawed critic seems to want to send you forward with others. So everybody turns positive. That would be it. Right? Question number 7. B.
From D, fourth one.
D, ma'am.
Everyone D or any other answer? Everyone sure about D? Yes. Any alternate answer? Mine?
Ma'am, D only.
D only. Okay, Mine, can you explain your answer?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, here it says that how physicists use numbers and all to discover the Higgs boson.
So
And
what do you mean by, okay, just a minute. What do you mean when it says when words run out, there are numbers? Means?
Statistics.
When we can't explain something in words, we explain them in numbers.
Yeah, we use statistics or facts to explain. Okay, yes?
yes, ma'am. So if you see the first three options, they aren't really connecting to the idea of the paragraph.
So what is the paragraph? So we are looking at a concluding sentence, right?
Yeah. So it shows how numbers give success instead of words. So the concluding line seems like the
Here
fourth
it's
one.
talking about news that places have found Higgs boson to confirm some of the greatest intellectual work ever carried out. Human race may not, now if you look at the last sentence, human race may not be able to resolve territorial disputes or run a stable currency bloc, but it has established why the universe has structure. So though we can't solve certain problems, at least we have reached somewhere in explaining something, right? So the now ozone crisis, some leaders, this is something specific, not related at all. So we can eliminate A. We need to know why we are eliminate A. World's problems can be solved. We are talking about we are not being able to solve. There is only one route through the crisis. Much of it
Crisis and voters, leaders, not related.
It's not related.
really. We should recognize this. So this goes back to
Awesome.
establish why universe has structure. Right? At least as progress. So B is our answer. Okay. Number 8. Bigger questions? Okay, come up with your reasoning.
the paragraph says true for some negative things. Then it says good, there is something good.
Yeah.
It says contradiction of something good. Therefore, the D option says it least as progress. That's why we choose D.
Right. That's also a valid answer. Now question number 8. Ready for your answer? Answer is B or D. B. Okay. Come up with D. Anybody else?
Ma'am, C.
B.
Chocolate fish. Chocolate. So you can only pretty much
We have B, C. Anybody with A or D?
B to the
B can't be
B to coefficient. And A नहीं हो सकता because इधर लिखा है he isn't seen as a commercially viable star. Meanwhile इधर पे दिया है कि that he has remarkable success in commercial films. So it's either B or C.
Wonders why he isn't seen as a commercial star. But he is. It says he is one of the best performers.
Ma'am, it can't be B because it's repeating a sentence again, like Nasruddin feels that he is ready to go to
Right, so it's like the
it's repeating, it's restating the same thing, because it can't be B.
Ma'am, C.
C. The answer should be C.
Now, what has not been C's mentality has not changed. Right? So now if you look at the passage, Nasruddin Shah is only one of the best performers, and then despite his
Yeah, he isn't the commercially viable.
okay, now let's look at okay, anybody so first your answer was
C.
my succeed. Kavya, your answer?
Ma'am, I said it's
Legally counter argument is the audience always appreciated good acting. Then the credit would always go to the not the bad looking at but repeating what is already mentioned. It's restating what is already
Let's look
mentioned.
at the question. Let's look at the passage again.
I'm just looking at B and C, not the. We know that we
Let's see. Says B.
Ma'am, are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking everyone.
Ma'am, why C? Because ma'am, the entire from the start to the end, the paragraph is talking about unconventional looking actors or atypical looks, which is basically putting emphasis upon the stereotypical mentality of the people. Hence, the mentality has not changed. People still find atypical actors, obviously unattractive looking compared to the attractive ones, but it's just that actors like Nasiruddin Shah and Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Irfan, all of them have been appreciated because of their good acting. That is why C would fit.
Now let's go back to the passage. So we are having a bit of confusion. देखते हैं. So here we are saying that Nasiruddin Shah is undoubtedly one of the best performers. Despite his atypical looks, he managed to make a mark for himself in both parallel and commercial films. Right? But gives credit. to Bollywood megastar Amitabh Bachchan for paving the way for unconventional. Hello, I am talking about you. Please can you keep quiet? I'll ask you to explain. So here we are talking about Nasiruddin Shah being successful, even though he had atypical looks, that is not the common hero-like looks. But he gives credit to Amitabh Bachchan for paving the way for unconventional looks, right? Unconventional looking heroes. So that is, we are talking about why the unconventional looks succeeded.
Looks are the main point of the whole paragraph. Second thing is in C, option C. It says audience always appreciated good acting.
Yeah.
That is actually
So,
true.
and we are talking about mentality has not changed. Has been spoken about. Yes.
C actually fits because the mentality of the people towards like unconventional races have not changed. But the audience have always appreciated good acting, liked performed by Nasiruddin Shah.
It's basically audience will prefer an unattractive person with good acting over an attractive person with bad acting.
Okay, now in the entire okay, 1 minute. In the entire paragraph, from the paragraph, can we conclude that people's have we been talking about people's mentality? People still like good-looking people, heroes. Have we come across that, or this is a new point? Now,
When you say despite his atypical looks, he managed to make a mark for himself, just shows and goes out of the way that normally in this industry, people with good looks end up making a better bread. That is why.
now let's look at this we keep. Now let's look at B. Now A and C A and D you have eliminated. Yeah. Now here also it says, but the tendency has not changed. What tendency? Chocolate face is accepted.
It's that pretty privilege. If an actor is good looking, they'll attach all the good qualities with their name.
So we are not talking about good looking actors at all. Yeah? Now if you look at A, why did you eliminate A?
Because it is given he is not commercially viable, but above it's given he has made a mark in commercial.
Okay, now let's look at B. Nowadays, unconventional looking actors like Nasiruddin Siddiqui and Irfan. Yeah.
यहाँ पे पूरा नसीरुद्दीन शाह और अमिताभ बच्चन की बात चल रही है यहाँ पे वो टीम में इरफान और सिद्दीकी को भी घुसेड़ दिया है कंप्लीटली बदल दिया है
So
पूरा चेंज
तो घुसाया है ठीक है.
They were diverting the narrative, and then at the end they brought it back to Amitabh Bachchan.
But Nasiruddin feels his girl credit goes to Amitabh Bachchan. Is this a repetition?
It is a repetition,
right?
Yes.
So that's why we will eliminate. So now we could have gone with B if the repetition was not there.
See. It says the audience has always appreciated good acting. If that would have been so, then he would have gotten the credit himself. Yeah, right. He would have no reason to give Amitabh Bachchan the credit for paving the way for unconventional looks. Because the natural last line, what audience would have paved the way.
Vishal himself gave Amitabh Bachchan credit because
But there will be no need to do that. The audience was already paving the way.
वो ये नहीं बोला कि तुम भी सुना दो मैं
Now if we see, if you look at B, nowadays unconventional looking actors like Nasiruddin Siddiqui and Irfan, among others, have raised the bar in film. So till here it's fine. That makes sense. Yeah. Now they will go and add, but Nasiruddin feels the real credit goes to Amitabh Bachchan. He had already said that earlier,
Yeah.
right? So should we repeat it?
No.
Half of it is correct. Half of it is logically right. Now, if we look at C, mentality has not changed. Have we said anywhere in the passage that people do not like unconventional heroes?
But if they already
I mean, indirectly, yes, we have said that.
Technically, have we?
Yes, ma'am, because why would there be a need to paving the way?
Yeah. So we are trying to prove that atypical heroes also are successful.
Why? Because of their good acting. That is also mentioned in the other part of the option.
So I think we could have gone with B if the first part of the sentence exists.
No, ma'am, still that won't be the case.
Where is the bar? No. See, if you look at Nasiruddin Siddiqui and Irfan, are they good looking heroes? Nasiruddin Siddiqui and Irfan, are they good looking?
Why? How can you just implement?
Ma'am, it depends, ma'am, which Irfan.
Are they, so do they have very much looks?
Yes.
They do, right? So we could have, here is a type of question where two answers are very close. And we can't say that, okay, this is completely wrong or this is completely wrong. Now we go with something that is logically correct. Right? So in going with logically correct, but Nasiruddin feels the real credit goes to Amitabh Bachchan, haven't we mentioned that earlier?
See, even if you remove the second part of option B, then also it would not be fitting. If you add the second part of the option B, then also it would not be fitting, because if you remove the second part, it would just say something that is totally contradictory, and the entire passage is talking about Nasiruddin, and out of the blue we have added two new actors.
Yes, the bar is not contradictory.
No, ma'am, but when you're saying 5 lines about Nasiruddin, then how is the conclusion talking about two new actors?
Okay, we go on to the next question.
Ma'am, let's read this question. We are how is the answer?
C is the obvious answer, ma'am.
Okay, बात कर रहे हैं.
Actually.
Ma'am, B cannot be the answer at all.
It has B contest with C.
Yeah.
See, if we say that mentality has not changed, we have anything which shows about the mentality of people.
Yes, ma'am, a lot of different clues indirectly, ma'am.
It tells us that he is one of the best performers, right? And then it tells us that despite his atypical looks, he managed to make a mark for himself. Means he got accepted into Bollywood. And एक second रुको मैं मुझे बोलने तो देना ही they talk about the mentality is not changed. Means Bollywood does prefer better lead actors, but audience has appreciated good acting from Nasiruddin Shah.
So I think, okay, so majority think C should be the.
कैसे change हुई है?
If you look at the passage, it is debating that good looks, atypical looks versus good looks. Right?
I would say we need to pay the path if the mentality has not changed.
So Amitabh Bachchan has paved the path for unconventional looking heroes.
That is the
that means
And right after that, you are introducing Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Irfan.
that other people don't prefer unconventional looking heroes, but they would rather go with good actors. Right? That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we go with, so I think we can go with C. So B could be an answer. We go with C. Right. So this being on this question. Now we can move on to question number 9.
So what is the answer for the question?
Okay, we are by majority. Just a moment, by majority vote. Excuse me, if there's so much of noise, they can't hear me. So you have to be a little considerate. So by majority vote, we are going with C. But that is logically correct.
This question.
Thank you. After this question, wait, and then we complete. We have 2 more questions. Can we complete this exercise section? Yeah, fair enough. Okay. अगर एग्जाम देना है, you have to be focused for the entire period of time. You have to get used to that. 10% भी इकट्ठे नहीं किया तो क्या? You have to do 45 questions in go. Plus 45 in maths. चलो वीडियो फोटो 20 मिनट.
Ma'am, C again.
C for 9.
Ma'am, option A.
Option A.
Ma'am, A.
Because he talked about not very by robotic class से आ गई.
Talking about a new venture or university. And it says massive online open course free of charge. So you have to connect with us. He says
कोई आंसर question.
Ma'am, C.
it's talking about going into a new venture. 1 minute. Read carefully. Decide to offer massive online open courses. Free of charge to the global 99% of tech-savvy alike. Web literature. Okay.
Yes, because
Okay, if you look at the keywords from the passage, new venture, online open course, free of charge, and even to the tech savvy and web illiterate.
It can't be A because it also a student there. And there's robotic cars and it should be
You need to connect. He is talking about offering online courses
online source
free of charge.
but it's getting very specific. It's
Huh?
talking particularly about not.
He says by the time classes began, enrollment has swelled. So classes hadn't begun as yet. He has just announced.
Yes, so
I think this entire question is wrong.
This is not.
No,
this question is serious.
It is asking you to think properly. It's asking you to analyze. Correct analysis will get you to the correct answer. So A says with student debt at 1 trillion in United States. So it's very expensive to study in United States. Greater than credit card debt current education system with its barriers, privileges, and vast inequalities was no longer defensive, he said. Was no longer defensive. So he said that the extreme cost, the student debt, which is even more than credit card debts, and he's talking about the current education system with privileges, barriers, etc., is not defensible. So what is in the beginning of his say is talking about at the end of his digital life design talk. He said announced something, and then he said something. Okay, if you look at B, the grand challenge called on American university students to build robotic cars, raise them unassisted for 135 over the salt flats and down the treacherous beer bottle pass. Is this even connected to capacity? B is eliminated,
Yes,
not
C.
connected.
It's C. After C.
Okay, let's look at C.
Lab contract.
As the lab director,
Digital.
1 minute, hello. Okay, 1 minute, can you explain C?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, the starting sentence talks about digital lab design talk in January. What is that name? Can you pronounce it?
Dystopian.
Thrun. So first of all, it talks about Thrun, like he is conducting
He said
the
he had resigned. He had resigned from Stanford. Instead, he was throwing his
going to
everything
venture.
different.
Yes, he was going to start the classes. Also, like he's talking in the digital live design talk. So like that can relate to enhanced reality classes. Like if he started his own venture, he can't redirect it. Yes, we could.
The entire paragraph is talking about a new venture. And C says, as the lab's director, Thorn develop enhanced reality classes worthy of a dystopian sci-fi novel, builds a second generation of robotic cars. Is this even related to the venture he is talking about?
No science fiction novel.
Is it related? Then how can you go with that as an answer?
But it can because we can talk about
What is the venture he is talking about?
the classes.
The online course which we also offer as free. Right? So where do the robotic cars come in? Do they come in?
No, they can't come.
So C is eliminated. Now D, does D have any relation?
No,
By the time classes began, he's not talking about classes began.
he's
He
going
is
to
giving-
start.
He is giving a talk. That is, we are talking about the speech. In his talk, this is what he announced. So it can continue with something he said.
But the whole paragraph is in past tense.
Yeah, he said it also in past tense. So by the time classes began, the classes haven't begun. It's just an announcement. So B, C, D is eliminated. A is the answer. If you look at A carefully, it makes sense.
It can be because it is going like that. That it was in the past and that is.
Yeah.
By the classes began, it means before the classes started,
No.
the involvements were already there.
So, but now here we are talking about at the end of his digital life design talk, he confirmed that he had resigned. Instead, he was throwing his energy into new ventures. So he's announcing something, right? So if you look at A, this is something he said in continuation of what he said earlier, right?
On map 8 का B है.
It can be here, but it is contested.
It is contested.
So you can go with B or you can go with C. Depends upon what is asked. So this one answer is A. Right? Last question from this exercise. Arbitrary, something which is vague or which is not true, which cannot be proved.
It cannot be.
Ma'am, C or D, I'm confused.
Should be D.
Here it is.
D. No. C. C.
Read the last sentence carefully.
It is a singular conclusion should be as to specific.
So it should be something related to theory. Linguists have traditionally assumed that this reflects the hardwired linguistic aptitude of the human brain. And then if you go on to D, these peculiarities have been explained by linguistics by reference to history. So something has been assumed and it is being explained. That is not very clear. Do we have clarity with D? And if you look at the points before that, it says languages are extremely diverse, not arbitrary, right? And then it goes on to say, beyond the built-in contradictory ways in which different languages or different tongues conceptualize a world in different ways. So different languages are used differently. Different things have different words and meanings in different languages. Yeah. We can sometimes discern order. So what do you mean by discern order? Even though there's confusion between different languages, but they all boil down to expressing the same thing. Right? Linguists have traditionally assumed, so here it talks about traditionally assumed that this reflects the hardwired linguistic aptitude of the brain. So here we're talking about aptitude of the human brain. So it is like, why does this happen? Even though every language is perceiving things differently, we are still looking at the same thing. If you put it in simple words. And linguistics think that this is because of the hardwired aptitude of the brain, linguistic aptitude of the brain. So that is the reason given for this phenomenon. Okay. Now if you look at the options.
Can you verify A?
Okay.
A is related to biology, genes, whatever.
So we have between A and D any other answer?
A is not an answer. going way out of the topic, like discussing about human genes and biology and
Hardwired, it is hardwired linguistic aptitude of the human brain. It is how the brain works. What do we find in the brain? Which helps us to use different terms and conceptualize the world. So, okay, A hai, D hai. Any other answer?
we can't teach because if the language are perceived, then there should be a reference, and if it is different, then there should be a assumption.
Yeah, because here we are talking about traditionally assumed. Now, these peculiarities have been explained by linguistics by reference to the history of the people who speak it. Are they giving a reason? They're just assuming on the basis of history of people who speak it.
Ma'am, what about C?
See,
Yes, ma'am.
C is talking about accumulate works and India learning, not only for foreigners but also for native speakers. Is C related?
B can be. A should be. Because if there's a subsidiary of there has to be something to this assumption as well. Then A is the same thing.
We have a lot of ignorance. Okay? Still confused? Not really confused, but we can simplify and get your answer. Yeah? Mahir, what's your answer?
I felt A.
You think A? So now what can we eliminate? Now we have between A and D. C and D can be eliminated.
Yes.
C talks about you think languages would evolve towards an optimal state of concision. So talking about concision, but instead they accumulate works that hinder learning. This is going in a completely different direction. Right? So C, B, eliminate. We come to B. Language has a logical job to do, to convey information, and here it is little bit irrationality. Now here we are talking about how people perceive language, or people perceive the world through language. Does B have anything to do with whatever has been said earlier? Right? Here we are not even talking about people. We are talking just about what language is all about. So we are left with A and D. Now I will go back to A. Yet a recent scientific studies propose that language universals, that is in what is generalized in language, aren't simply prescribed by genes, but they arise from interaction between the biology of human perception and the bustle, exchange, and negotiation of human culture. So in the passage is talking about, like, you can discern languages, and it says assume that it represents a hardwired linguistic aptitude of the brain. So is it only the brain that is responsible for how we perceive languages, or there is something more to it? Yeah, so A gives us that there is something more to it, not only biology. Now if we come back to D, does it make sense?
Maybe.
Again, maybe.
It should be A.
So these peculiarities have been explained by linguists by reference to history of the people.
There's no mention.
Now the linguistics are already saying that they assume that this is because of the
Human
the
brain and not the history of the brain.
And then they go on to say that now, if again, this is similar to the previous question we were dealing with. The same theory cannot be contradictory. If we want to contradict, we need to go on to a different theory. So we won't go with D, we will go with D. Because D is anyway contradicting whatever has been said, but it is not coming with up with the new theory. Okay, done with this?
Yes.
Everything heavy on the brain? You have to get used to the questions. It will take a little day.
It's a different parts in receptions. Basically, basically. Even Oh.
Get back to work. Can we get back to work? Huh? Absolutely waiting. Okay, okay, so we move on to, so these were what we did about like a little tough on your brain. What is the other critical thinking in there?
The last two especially were very tricky. Last two was.
That's why we make this questions so that we know how to tackle. Similar questions come up, you know how to tackle. Right? So now we can move on to exercise 3. Page 182. The directions the same way in it. They may ask you one or. Now in this, if you look at the options given to you, see this is A and B, A and C, B and C. So maybe 2 of the options can also fit. So you have to analyze accordingly. Here we have not the beginning or the end, we have middle sentence. So ये only B, all 3 B है. And C. What is people's?
I'm boxer only.
Physical boxers. Women's boxing. Yes. Shyam, Mahir, Utkarsh.
I'm B, A, and C.
Even though it is not a state group.
You can eliminate it.
It's that C.
Now, what is the first sentence? Excuse me. Okay, who will say only A? A and C? And C. Anyone with B or B and C? Okay, so Utkarsh, what's your answer? Got it?
B, A, and C.
A and C. Shyam?
Yes, ma'am. A and C.
A and C. Got it?
A and C, ma'am.
Kavya, Rachel?
Only A.
Kavya? Kavya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, boys, can you be quiet? Boys, yeah. Okay, next session में please somebody get a mic. यहाँ लगाने के लिए.
I'll bring her.
Because my throat is getting soft. Okay, so we have A and A and C. It says women's boxing is yet to be recognized as an Olympic sport. We are talking about Olympic sport. Right? It is still not recognized as Olympic sport. So maybe this was a few years ago. 2008 Olympics के बात कर रहे हैं. Somewhere around that. Okay, if that happens, right? If that happens, the dream of most of the top girls may come true. Abhi, what's our pinpointed question? That what? So, the A says the International Boxing Association has been campaigning to include it as an event in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. So it is trying to get it included. If that happens, it could be a great income. Now, if we look at C, even some state governments are now willing to employ women. Is it connected to the Olympics? So our answers are now, our answer is only A. So, can you stop discussing among yourselves? Huh? So अभी answer क्या? Only A. Right? So anyone who thought A and C, we get back to only A. Okay, question number 2. Men's grooming parlor नहीं जाते क्या? बाल कटाने तो जाते हैं ना? And as you grow older, when you want to have more girlfriends, you want to groom yourself. So let's see what men think. You're talking about men. It's talking about male vanity is no different from female self-face. That is on the face of it.
It should be A. B to correct. B correct.
A confident man no longer shies away from stating his deep interest in beautifying his appearance. Now, which of the sentences won't fit into the space we have?
C won't. A won't fit. C won't. A and D.
Okay, male vanity is no different from female. So what can come after that? Now look at your options. You have A and B, A and C. Only C and all two.
A and B.
A and
B should be A and B. A and B. Or B and B. C
okay. Anyone with A and C?
Segment is okay. If you're not shining away.
Okay, anyone think C can also be an answer? Okay, now you look at your options and connect the dots. Plug in the options and see how it is connected. Male vanity is no longer different from females in face. Now we come to A, right? A.
I feel it's all three.
Have spent millions of dollars researching this. Yeah.
I feel it's all three.
Researching this refers to? Hello? What does this refer to? In A, what does this refer to?
This.
That male vanity is
This
no
refers to-
different. They have researched that male vanity is not different. Men want to look amazing too. Okay, aa gaya? Now, if you look at B, today's urban male spends as much on beauty products as his female counterpart. It can be connected,
Yes.
right? B can be connected.
Yes.
Now, can we eliminate C?
Yes, we can. Yes, it does not fit in what's the statement. How is it the fastest growing market segment? Because
It is perhaps that is we are talking about the male beauty products, right? Fastest growing market segment of the field food industry. And last comes, okay, let's see. Our next last sentence could be a confident man no longer shies away from stating his deep interest in beautifying his appearance. Now, does C fit in?
no,
We don't think so. C is going into the market segment, and the last sentence that you have is still talking about what the man thinks.
C is the second sentence. Then we do that. The conclusion will be that the confident man will not shy away. No, also the last sentence fits the conclusion that C can be the second sentence. This one said that.
Another thing, if you look at B, okay, another thing, if you look at B and C together, do B and C fit in together?
B and C.
We keep A makes sense. Now, if you look at B and C, are they related?
B is related.
They are
C
related.
is
B is related to A.
it's
Now, is C related to B?
how we can it's not related.
The urban male
How does
spends.
the margin compared to the picture?
What is what the urban male spends as much on beauty products?
Also in C, we are going out of the topic. We are not even talking about males and if C is the second line. If C is
What
the
is
second line.
B? What is B
Fastest
saying?
growing market, there is a conclusion will come that they are buying more things. Which is the market
The urban males, okay, 1 minute. The urban male spends as much on beauty products as his female counterpart. He is spending. Where is he spending?
Beauty product.
Where are the beauty products coming from?
The market.
The market. Is it related?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and because the male is spending as much,
The market will.
it is the fastest growing market segment. It's talking about fastest growing segment. Commerce people should know that. Should be able to understand. The market is growing.
Okay, that is valid, but C does not go into that statement. If there,
It's valid, but how does it?
That's what, no, see, if you look at the whole.
it's
Now,
C
if
only
you-
नहीं जाता है.
1 minute, okay. Okay, do one thing. Read the paragraph with all the 3 statements. One after the other. And then go on to the last sentence. And then think, can we eliminate C or not? We are looking at eliminating.
C is the second line. Fastest growing market. So conclusion आएगा कि मैं खरीद रहे हैं, मैं वो शायद नहीं.
The men are spending, so it is the fastest growing market segment of the feel good industry.
Correct.
Yeah, feel good, look good industry. Now, who is looking at the feel good, look good?
Men.
Men are. Men are not shying away from stating, or the man no longer shies away from stating his deep interest in beautifying his appearance. So he is looking at the feel good factor and look good factor. So, can we eliminate C?
No.
It makes sense putting it. So, our answer then will be all 3. Now, got it? So you have, no, before eliminating an option, what do you see? Does it fit in that? If you have an option given to you all 3, so you have to analyze all 3. Yeah? If you can eliminate straight away, if not, analyze. Right? Question number 4. Look at what you can eliminate. What doesn't fit in?
A and B.
A and B don't fit in.
No, A and B are the answer.
A and B are the answer.
No. Ma'am, 1 second. This is the 4th question.
What question? We move on to the 4th question. Head हो गया.
But नहीं होगा.
नहीं हुआ. तो नहीं है इसे. Yes, मुझे इधर आ रहा ही नहीं. Okay, everyone got your books. Let's read the 3rd one. Okay, question number 3 from your books.
कौन सा वाला category?
3 find out and we move on to 3 is missing. Okay, 3 is missing in the PPT. You can use 2.
Competition about the
Yes.
Options?
A very different myself.
Says, if you can't give a student a computer, at least give them a prize. So that was the concept behind Microsoft Research Lab India's development of a software solution that allows the use of multiple mice in a computer.
See, A and B. I don't know. अगर सारे माइसेस के एक ही तरह से पता ही चले कौन से माइस किधर जा रहे हैं
Okay, that is a different problem. Here we are looking at what can fit in. What can fit in? A can fit in.
B हो सकता है A and B हो सकता है A and B not A and B A and B
A and B.
Is a logical solution added to the solution.
Logical solution.
Okay, now read carefully. What is the passage talking about?
You can't give a student a computer
Give each
give them
student
a
a
mouse.
mouse. Even if you can't get a computer, right? तो मतलब उसको computer उसके पास computer
अच्छा
नहीं
लेकिन
है.
बिना कंट्रोल
So this was the concept behind Microsoft Research Lab India's development of a software solution. So they developed a software solution based on this concept. Now if you look at A, according to a recent study, it was seen that at least 5 students worked on a single computer in a government school. If 5 students were already working, why did they need a software solution?
Because they were all working on a single, like
They were working on a single computer.
there was no different marks.
मैम देखो
It was
मैम what I'm saying exactly ma'am what I'm saying is if 5 people are using the same computer, the same mice with black color cursor, how will you know which one is yours?
Okay, that is
Microsoft-
that is
I think that there is no technology.
Microsoft can
Your statement is viable, but that is not a solution to that problem. That is a different problem entirely.
we are looking at what can go into the black. What can go into the black?
A and B.
A and B.
Okay, now if we say A, according to a research study, it has been seen that at least 5 students worked on a single computer in the government schools. And then we said this will help them use. This will help them use. They were already using the same computer, 5 students using the same computer. Then they say this will help them use the same computer simultaneously to the cost of a few extra mice.
I think it is very.
Both the statements go in.
Yes, ma'am.
We are talking about government schools only. What about other places?
Governments and their courts are the same one.
Yes.
And there are other schools of common. Other schools like private schools of
A and B are correct because
Does your school have a computer for each student?
Yes.
All schools are.
Not for each student, like there's too much 40 computers and 5 extras comes, they can use the computer.
Yeah. So if you have 100 students per class,
Right.
if you have 100 students per class or 60 students per class, then
You need.
so this problem is not just for government schools, it can be for other schools also. It could be for officers also. It could be for colleges also. Can it be limited to government schools?
but the study have
Well, study is true.
But because study not just as already out.
So this will help them to use the same computer simultaneously. So A and B, you think A and B
Yes,
can
ma'am.
go together?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because then there will be more about when all students will be able to work simultaneously.
Okay, now this B begins with this. B begins with this. What does this refer to?
The problem.
This refers to the software. Actually, next sentence also begins with
This refers to giving them. Yeah? Giving the students a mouse each.
and the next sentence also refers
And if we bring in A in the middle, what does this refer to?
So,
What is this? What does this refer to if we bring in A? Read the passage with both the sentences. Does it
and
give
B
you clarity?
doesn't go because the next sentence also starts.
What seems to be the reason? It will help them use the same computer simultaneously. They are not using the same computer simultaneously. In the government schools, there is one computer through multiple schools. Now, if you read the entire, hello, every one of you read the entire passage with A and B together.
Together.
Yeah. You are putting in A and B,
Yes.
so read the entire passage with A and B.
Means that we can put all of
So now, if you look at A, can A come after the first sentence?
No.
It should come before. So there was a problem, here is your solution. Right? We cannot place A after the first sentence. So this refers to giving them a mouse each. So what will our answer be?
only B.
Only B.
Why not A?
That's why I told you, read the passage with A and B.
In B, the same thing is the same issue is repeated, like they will use the computer simultaneously for the cost of a few extra mice, and in the third line also, the last line says the same thing, that allows them to multiple mice.
This was the reason.
He is giving the reason.
A is the reason for the Microsoft to develop.
Because it
So,
says there is no study being done.
What is B giving you? B is giving you the solution. How this will help?
But if there is no study being done, then that would be.
So the study has to come before the solution.
The next line says this seems to be the reason, like the reason is the study.
Solution can't be the reason. A study has to be the reason.
So the study should come first.
Yes.
Then, see, you identify the problem, then you give a solution. Problem should come first or solution should come first? Problem should come first. So ideally, A should come first, then the solution should come. Right? So in the space given to us, can we put A and then B? No. If we need to put A, we need to put A as the introductory sentence. Right? So here we will go with only B. Little extra analysis required. Okay, now come to question number 4. Yes. Huh? Is Shripati already? Yeah. So, एक कर लेते हैं, clear. I'll see how fast we can see. PNC. Solution media. Read carefully. Okay, whenever you come to a solution, plug it in, read the paragraph.
PNC is viable option.
Actually, we did this before starting.
Okay, let's see. What is B talking about?
Infrastructure efficiency.
What is infrastructure efficiency?
It's given over here, like the GDP has declined from 40% to 20%. And B talks about another
Ma'am, it will be only A.
problem which can even hold back the future growth of the future. So that's like another
And
example.
if you look at the last sentence already given to you, does it connect? Think carefully, does it connect? Do B and C connect?
C and A, C connects.
B is talking about infrastructure efficiencies can hold back further growth. And here we are talking about getting to a solution. In the context of ensuring food security and promoting inclusive growth, strategies to revitalize agriculture has become highly relevant.
B talks about CAM and
Yeah,
the next last slide talks about it.
we need to strategize to ensure food security. Yeah, in the context of the food security. Now, if we look at the infrastructure.
Ma'am, it will be only A. No?
Only A.
We
A comes here.
No, sorry. Only B.
We're talking about fiscal deficits and proportion to GDP.
Only B.
Nothing to do with agriculture. A has nothing to do with agriculture.
Ma'am, I meant only B. Sorry.
Only B.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at C, what is C saying? Recent volatility in agricultural production has had its impact not only on economic but also on price stability as well. So we are talking about changes in the agricultural production. And earlier it said there was a decline from 40% to below 20%. What connects?
C.
Yeah. Now does B come in? B talks about a different point altogether. A different reason which is going in a different way. It's related to agriculture, but a different aspect of agriculture. So what relates to the previous sentence? Only C. Got it?
Yes.
तो अभी होमवर्क चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए?
We get started on the picture.
Some people have done with the test. How many people have test this week? बाकी लोग तो होमवर्क कर सकते हैं. Even you can do 10 minutes. You can put in. 10 to 15 minutes every day is possible. You have to be determined. Okay? So now you have questions. This is question 4. Question 5, say 15 in the whole week. You can finish. Yeah? 10 questions. 10 questions you can do. 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes if you questions. Ideally. Right. So you sit down for 5 minutes. See how many questions you can do. It's like rapid fire. Get the questions here. 5 minutes and you can sit. After you're done with your studies, now 5 minutes to this. 6 days, 5 minutes, possible. You have only 10 questions to do. You can't say I have exams, I can't do. ये वाला mentality बदलना चाहिए. Because you have to go into, you are planning to go into IIM. You won't have time to breathe. You know that? There's no time to breathe. Forget about past leisure, sleep. You तो भूल गए. There'll be so much to do. Leisure time नहीं रहेगा, sleep time नहीं रहेगा. Leisure सोचो. You are training your brain to multitask. अभी स्कूल मोड से निकल के you have to start thinking. मुझे IIM में जाके क्या करना? होना है कि काम करना है? या बहाना मिला? Right? So get out of the habit of बहाना कि आज ये है, मेरा टेस्ट है, 7 दिन टेस्ट है, बीच में 2-2 दिन गैप भी है ना? So daily का पाँच, I'm giving you an easy solution. Daily का 5 मिनट, daily 5 to 10 minutes is possible. 5-10 मिनट तो वैसे ही निकल जाते हैं ना. मोबाइल लेके बैठते हैं, कितना टाइम निकलता है? How much time do you spend on your mobile? Check. Okay, thank you everybody. Everyone, write down your homework.
9 minutes.
Only 9 minutes. So those 9 minutes can be used for your.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, what is the rest of the exercise? Okay?
Fine.